That means control. Control of your emotions. Control of your physical appetites. And control of your sense of what's right and what's wrong. All these controls are especially important to young people in their expanding personal and social activities, particularly those involving drinking and sex. These can be exciting and at the same time bewildering. Like a car rolling down a steep hill, alcohol and emotions build their own momentum. If you lose control, you can end up in difficulty or with damage.
If you have sex outside of one permanent monogamous, and monogamy does not mean one at a time. That means one partner who has only been with you. You have sex outside of that context and you will pay. Boys, if there's a girl throwing herself at you, if she's the one pressuring you for sex, if this is a girl that's dressing in that manner that's saying not only to you but the rest of the world, take me now, I got a little word of advice for you. Run from this girl, run! I did not say walk away slowly. I said run from her.
God made men to get turned on by what you see. God made women to get turned on by what we hear and how we feel about his words. So if some cleavage were to come through the door right now, what would happen with these guys? Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, they would get jazzed, yeah. And girls, I watched you all walk in here today and you're very beautiful. You're getting more pretty the older you get. You're very curvy. And I'll bet if I get close to you, you smell yummy. And guess who notices? Yeah, all of those guys. And right now, some of you need to do the cleavage check. Take care of it. Thank you. And if you don't know what the cleavage check is, it means when you get dressed to come to school in the morning, go in the bathroom before you leave for school, bend over the sink. If you can see your own cleavage, you get back in the bedroom, get a new shirt on. We don't bring all that skin to school. You know why? Because these guys are very busy. They are making bazillions of sperm. They're just sperm factories. Sperm factories right there. You're sitting next to a sperm factory. Yeah. And when you show up with all that skin going on, what's that do to them? It makes them crazy. Don't do that to these guys. Ladies, don't even sit in front of a guy and let your jeans sag so he can see the top of your thong thing. Don't do that to guys. Pull your shirt down. Pull your jeans up. Cor, come on up. It's nice to meet you. Thank you. All right. Are you ready for this? Here's your girlfriend. Okay? She's kind of tall and thin. What do you think? She's transparent with her feet. Look at her curves, Corey. Nice curves. Well, you know what? You're going to have sex with her right here in front of everybody. So I need you to get naked on your arm. It looks pretty naked. Okay, here we go. I know. The tape just bonded to Corey, and Corey bonded to the tape, right? And it's a good bond. Do you agree, Corey? It's a good bond? Yeah. Do you notice what I'm doing the whole time? He's squirming. I know. This is great. You guys, is it possible? Pretend. Is it possible? Could Corey marry this girl someday? Could he? He could. Will he? Not if he's in the national average. Remember, after high school, after college, in the workplace. So guys don't usually marry who they sleep with in high school. So if he's not going to marry her now, what's he got to do to her? Yeah. Breaking up. Does breaking up hurt, guys? Girls, do you hear what the guys are saying? You guys, this is the best group of boys we've raised in 30 years. These high school guys are awesome. They're awesome. Yeah. You should applaud. Yeah. Oh, Corey. Oh, she's going to need some therapy. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Give him a hand. Thank you. Uh-oh, what's on here? Hair, skin, DNA, lotion, cologne, Corey. I need another healthy male volunteer. Tell me your name. Cooper, nice to meet you, Cooper. Cooper, you're going to meet her second semester, so get naked on your arm, okay? Okay. Okay, now I want you to notice something about the tape. Tape is a bonding agent, right? How many sex partners does your generation have before marriage? 6. So what's starting to happen to the tape? It's losing its ability to bond, isn't it? So is Cooper going to marry this girl someday? Probably not. So what's he got to do? He's got to break up. Go ahead, Cooper. Be kind. Be kind. Oh, look how kind. All right, what do you see? It's losing its transparency. What else is happening? Losing its ability to bond. That's right. This is what happens when we have multiple partners before we get married. We give up our ability to bond.
My sneakers?
But Michelle, what is this? It looks like the entire football team has been in these things. I mean,
I made them all wear socks.
socks? Michelle, socks don't protect my heart. You can still get foot fungus with socks.
I wish I could go back in time and make a commitment to be abstinent until marriage.
I had a teacher who was talking about abstinence. And she said, imagine you're a stick of gum. And when you engage in sex, that's like getting chewed. And then if you do that lots of times, you're going to become an old piece of gum. And who's going to want you after that? Well, that's terrible, but nobody should ever say that. But for me, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm that chewed up piece of gum. Nobody re-chews a piece of gum. You throw it away. And that's how easily it is to feel like you no longer have worth. You no longer have value. Why would it even be worth screaming out? Why would it even make a difference if you are rescued? Your life still has no value.
Said being a teenager is easy.
You have to face a lot of important decisions.
But no decision is probably more important than the one you'll make about becoming sexually active. As a teenager, you're expected to wait until you're married before you become sexually active.
Until then, abstinence is the only option that's acceptable to your family, your school, and your community.
When you drive with somebody, it's like driving with everyone they've ever driven with. You drive with some guy, you're driving with all the girls he drove with.
I want you to know, buddy, be selective. You only need one car, really.
So you've only ever driven one car?
Get yourself into a wreck, you're gonna have a busted fender for the rest of your life. No one's gonna wanna drive with you.
You know, God wants you to wait to drive.
I don't know how that can be true.
Jesus never drove, so I don't know why you need to.
Students, God created sex. It's awesome. It's not a terrible thing we can't talk about at Catholic school. God created sex. That's right. Now listen up. God wants you to have great sex. He does. This is not about wrecking your fun. Now listen, you guys laugh at that, and I am going to prove it to you by the end of this hour, so you have to pay very close attention, because I'm going to have to talk to you about this again. God created sex. It was His idea, not yours. But God created sex with boundaries. And when sex happens within boundaries, it's awesome. When it happens outside of boundaries, it's horribly, horribly destructive. Help me out. What is the boundary or the context for which God created sex? There's the right answer. Most of you don't believe that. You know how many church kids I've had in my office for years look at me and say, but we loved each other. So, God did not create sex for love. That is not the boundary. God created sex for one context and one only. It's permanent, lifetime commitment, marriage, not love.
Sex is, something private, something great between people.
Sexuality is part of our being.
Comprehensive sex ed program will include both parts.
Exactly.
Abstinence and contraception.
And adults in general think that they can just ignore the issue.
Kids talking about it, everyone has their own opinion.
You just heard from some of the young people who have experienced sex education in U.S. schools. And there is no harsh condemnation by the students on the merits of abstinence only or a comprehensive program.
How many of you know anyone who's had sex before they graduated from high school?
Yeah.
Hello.
How many of you know anyone who was unmarried and pregnant in high school?
Yeah, I knew 2 girls.
How many of you know anyone with an STD?
Ooh, yes.
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
Meet Benjamin Barrows of Bowie, Maryland High School, Nikki Babaeva, Maryland University, Jaywu Mahama of George Washington University, Vanessa Giffard of Maryland University, and Ariana McLean of Tufts University.
So what do you think about sex education? Do high schoolers really need it?
They're getting to that age where their bodies are changing and they're starting to become more interested in the opposite sex or the same sex, as the case may be. And a lot of them aren't prepared.
Of course, abstinence is the best way to protect yourself. Of course, if you don't want to get something, don't do it. But at the same time, if you do choose to do something, then there's also contraception. There are also plenty of choices. Young people deserve to have all the necessary information to make responsible decisions.
Right.
Statistics show that students won't remain abstinent just because you're telling them be abstinent.
According to statistics, 90% of people who take the Pledge of Abstinence break it. Why do you think that is?
If you have a room of 30 people who are signing it and you're the one that's not signing it, what is that saying about you?
What questions would you have liked to have answered about sex education when you were in school?
At times I felt like even my teacher felt a little awkward
talking
to us about something, and he had a family, he had a little child, something that was definitely a big part of his life, and he felt out of place talking to us about it.
A good thing, but also a very hard thing to include, would be about relationships and sexuality and the emotional part. More not like the forbidden fruit.
We're going to be parents one day, and because we are in the International Youth Leadership Council and Advocates for Youth, we're going to know how to talk to our kids about sex. But, a lot of parents just ignore it, and so we can't expect the media to be our teachers.
A lot of children are learning about sex through media, and that's not a healthy way of looking at sex. Realistically, when you see a woman with big breasts on TV and you see, the bathing suit, that's what people classify as sex and sex sells. That's not a healthy portrayal that you should be showing to children about sex.
Show young people that it's okay to talk about it, that it's okay to have a casual conversation about it, which means that these conversations are going to be taken out of, school grounds to gatherings of friends, and then it's not going to be a taboo, topic, and it's not going to be, oh, you said sex, haha. It's just going to be a normal part of our lives.
These women wouldn't be here if they hadn't experimented with sex during high school. All right, so Leah, let's talk about it. What kind of sex education did you have in school?
There was health, that was it. There was a brief description on it, but that's the only education that I had gotten.
How about for the rest of you?
Same thing.
Really?
Yeah. There's a chapter in health.
Oh, come on, health class. Step it up a little. And it had little drawings that were just come on. Really?
I think we had a slideshow of all the STDs. I think they were just trying to scare everybody.
So where did you guys learn about sex?
Didn't.
While you were doing it, of course. While we were in motion. Okay, got it.
I think it's great to be able to use this platform to get the word out and get people talking about it, and just people are able to see it can happen to anybody. All of our stories are different. You know what I mean?
I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, which is the second most conservative city in the United States. One of the things that kept coming up were the really high rates of teen pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections amongst our peers, and how we knew absolutely nothing about it. My name is Shelby Knox, and I wanted to look into what our school was actually teaching. Basically, it was a pastor coming into our public school and teaching his love, sex, and dating seminar.
Sex is what two dogs do out on the street corner. There are some young people that are acting like dogs and just having sex.
our school was not giving us the information to protect ourselves. Anyone who had a pregnant student in their classroom knew that just say no doesn't work. Young people were organizing to do something for ourselves that adults would not do for us.
But I'm telling you, there's also some parents. I'm one of them that wants to raise my own child.
All right. From the statistics, parents aren't telling their kids. And if somebody doesn't tell them, they're going to go experiment, and that's going to be their education.
My sister's got a kid, Nevick's have a kid now. I got two. She's got one. They need to hand out more condoms and stuff like that at school.
One of the coolest things was former and current medical professionals coming forward and saying,
we all know that abstinence only is not working. I feel that I represent the less vocal majority in this city.
If you don't tell them, then who will? This celebrity.